what I'll do here now is I'll just go over here and set up, and I'll show the system just clipping on the bucket, and I'll just go through a little demo on the system itself and set it up, and I'll explain from a waist level, from ground level, how it's maneuvered, and then I'll elevate it to a height, and I'll show you how. What we have here is, this is the tripod and the bucket system set up here. So I'll show you how it comes out of the box. So the tripod has been designed that all the mechanisms here that turn, there's no hidden nuts or bolts. So it means that as time goes by, we find when people purchase it, if there's any problem, it's very easy to send them a nut or bolt, or they can purchase another. It's very easy to fix. So it's not hidden, and it's a very sturdy metal tripod. And on the bottom here, we have the caster wheels. They're lockable, so it can be positioned in one position, and the locks can be put on. And here we have at the top, this is a plastic mounting bracket. So this is one of our trademarks on our patents. We've developed basically our patent is a mounted bucket system. So that's very important, is a mounted bucket system. There's never ever been a bucket that's been mounted. We've always been designed to carry buckets up a ladder or down. It's always been a handle, whereas the bucket we've developed clips on and attaches safely onto the mounting bracket here. Again, that's the tripod. The tripod is easy to use. It sits on the bottom of the box, and the bucket comes out with it. So you just fold it out nice and easy. And on here, there's the little plastic mounting bracket. There's a little demonstration, and it explains the back and the front. So it's very easy and demonstrable for the retailer when they purchase it, that they see there's a back of the mounting bracket and there's a front. So that means the front of the bucket just clips on the front here. And I'll show you. I purposely have the bucket obviously loaded up with tools and equipment here just for my demonstration. But normally the bucket would come just with the bucket, and this little tool attachment would be inside the bucket when it comes out of the box. And then again, we have the little liners here, disposable liners, for disposable for when you're changing colors and stuff. So the bucket comes out and it's just placed on an angle. Basically just placed at an angle, and you'll hear the clip. So it clips on safely. I'm just fixing the tripod here. So previously explained the ergonomics of paint and decorating while standing. At the moment, we have studied that majority of DIYers, definitely the majority of DIYers will all leave their tins on the ground, and it's really troublesome on their back when they're bending every 5 seconds. So if I showed you, if I was just painting this section here, I basically would be bending with the brush, and I'd be coming back up, doing 3 or 4 strokes, and back down. But with the Hightower, it's right beside you, it's mobile. Here you can see I'm just dipping into my paint. So it's the paint and tools are at arm's reach at all time. Again, we have a mini roller. The same thing, we will just wet up the mini roller. And I suppose most painters now are using the mini rollers for the architrave and the woodworks. So you can see that being applied. Again, I'm just going through the different options we have here. We have a wet brush now, we have the wet mini roller, and we have the 9-inch roller at our disposal as well. So standing in a standing position, it's very good for when you're doing a lot of brushing, doors, woodwork. These doors, as you know, all need 2 coats, so it's time consuming. So again, the Hightower system just stays by your side at all times. I will just go on now, set up at a height, and I'll show you the height. Again, the system, it's just there's a locking system here underneath, that just means loosen, and it's elevated up to height, and then it's pinned. So there's 2 locking systems There's actually a screw turn locking system, and there's a little pin. So you have a double locking system if you want to use. Again, I can get more height out of it by just extending it up at the bottom. This height, to be quite honest, these ceilings here in Ireland are 2.5 meters. This height, even at the moment, is probably too high for that because it's a wee bit above the width. So you can just organize it to your required height. As I explained earlier, the World Health Organization and health and safety regulations for ladder use, you must ascend and descend ladders, maintaining 3 points of contact. So at the moment, it's very hard to do that in the paint and decorating industry. It's very hard to go up with the paint kettle and a brush. You must you must use 3 points, but it's very hard to do it at the moment with certain practices. So here I'm going up to my work area. As you can see, it's at waist height. It's even at this, it's still high. I can drop it again. So this system, as I explained earlier, is developed that we can go much higher. So we can work maybe at 3 meters, 3.5 meters, and the Hightower system's at your waist. So this is a kind of a, for me, this is always a really great moment. And to be quite honest, I would advise anybody, and hopefully I'll get to come over now boxing in July, August, and I think probably in your head office there in the Bronx in New York, we set up a little Hightower demo area so we can do every quarter or every 6 months we can rephrase things. But I think, again, as boxing explained earlier about that this is a system, this is not just the paintbrush or the paint stripper that we just fire out into the market and everybody knows what it is. I suppose it is a system. People need to be educated in it, but for me, this is a defining moment when you're at a height, and even myself as from inventing it. The moment that I done my first prototype and I could elevate it and come up the ladder and do my bit of painting, to me that was a defining moment that has changed a lot of things for a lot of people. We've sold successfully thousands of them here in Ireland, the UK. We are growing throughout Europe, but it's a defining moment where basically I can just, as you can see, dip my brush. Again, we have the magnet here boxing for the wet brush. It's just sitting here self-supported on the magnet out of the paint. What the defining moment is, as you can see, when you can dip it here, you can maintain 3 points of contact. I can be closer to my work surface and basically perform my painting task. So, as you guys are all aware of, the painting decorating process at the moment when you're painting, the cutting in. So the cutting in, no matter what, it needs a brush to get that real good finish at the ceiling or at the tops of the woodworks and so on. And that's where the Hightower, again, gives you good comfort. We're not worrying about a paint bucket on top of here. I'm not holding a paint can and worrying about it. I've got full focus on my paint task. Again, I'll just show you. So we can reach, we have a better reach. So we're reaching over here. As you can see, I can use the top step, very comfortable. Again, we have our mini roller at a height. So as you can see with that demonstration, I've done my cutting in, I've done my money rolling, and again, sorry, I probably just missed it earlier. I've got my sandpaper here for sandpapering. So if I want to do a bit of sand in the woodwork, or if I want to do sand in the wall, I've got scribbers. So we have a full system here that offers, again, at a height, a safer, faster, and hassle-free painting experience for all painting decorators and DIYers. And to finish at a height, I suppose what I find about it the real people who really benefit from this and working at a height is the retailers and the DIYers. And the reason for that is because the professional trade, like myself and people like myself, I am sturdy and strong. I can climb ladders, I can jump up on top of cabinets, but it's the real householders. They find it difficult seeing themselves at a height, carrying tools, carrying paint. They see it as unsafe, they see it as unstable. And to be quite honest, what I have identified, and you'll see this in the US, is that I am actually basically getting people back off their couches to paint again. People have been painting when they bought their first home in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. But we find there's a decline when they come to 50, 60 because they're afraid of climbing unsafe. So that means the painting for them is diminishing. So with this system, I've seen it with a lot of customers. It really brings the painting back into them because they're older, maybe they haven't much money and they still want to paint, but this gives them a bit more of insurance, basically, of their safety and their enjoyment for painting. So I suppose on that, I'll just go back down the ladder and I can finish off just in front of you guys. Typically, at the moment, the practices are to go up and cut in at a height. 99.9% of painters are carrying a paint kettle or a little paint pane like this, which basically by holding it like this, you definitely can't hold the ladder. So you're going up the ladder with the brush here and you're like this, or they're holding the paint tin. So most retailers and DIYers aren't using the paint panes. They'll actually carry their paint tin or a paint bucket, and they're using the top step, the top platform here. But what we find is most people, when they're using the top step for paint tins and their equipment, it's just unsafe. And as you're well aware, people have issues of the tin and they're afraid of it falling over, spilling the carpet, and just making it an absolute disaster of the room and the floors. So here with the Hightower, I actually find myself, it's actually, as you can see, it's a platform. It's not a step. So I usually just rest, and it's so comfortable. So it means that with the Hightower, as you can see, it's even moved out of the road. Even if the Hightower was this far away, it's still accessible. But having it here and using this platform really gives me real control. So when I'm here, as you can see, if I had a paint tin there, I am governed. I must stay behind back here because I can't go further than here. I will knock it over. So look, that's my full reach, which is here. But with the Hightower, we can actually reach to here. So again, we're safer, but we can actually perform our tasks much more control, and we can actually give a better finish here at a height by having more control and being basically in a safer position. I actually have another little demonstration, and I'll just spin it around. So I'll explain it first. Since the launch of the Hightower in the last couple of years, we've found that I keep explaining the red bucket. So we're thinking more that we have a system. Red is for DIY, the retailers. But what we find now is the professional decorator, the real professional decorator, I suppose they are going into spraying, they are going into more advanced technologies. But we do find that a percentage of our consumers who are buying the Hightower are using it for wallpaper and more specialized decorating. So what we found was at the moment here in Europe, wallpapering has advanced now that the paste is coming ready-made. So that means that people are pasting the actual wall. So they're not mixing it and doing it on the table anymore. They're pasting the wall. So that means the Hightower, we've developed a grey system here. As you can see, this bucket here, and there's a bit of wallpaper. So I've left the little hop. If you can see the little hop here, which is probably used in the USA as well. And we have the little board here. Let me see. So what I'll do is I'll just explain it here, Boxing, and then I'll just jump up on the hop and show you. Again, the bucket is very similar. We just need to make a few changes. As you can see, there's scissors at the back. We've made a little hole, so the scissors are sitting neatly and tidy at the back. And you have there's a piston brush. So if you're standing here at the piston table, you can work away cutting your paper and stuff. So at a height, when you go up to a height, you need to have your paste bucket at waist level to gain the paste from the bucket onto the wall. So I'll just jump up here and try and explain it here. As you can see, a lot of the decorators are using these little hop-ups, so they're not using ladders, because when you're doing wallpaper, you can't carry wallpaper up a ladder. So what they do is they hop up, so they hold it. So basically, you would be pinching it like this, and you can't go up a ladder, so you'd be hopping up the hop. So you're up here, and that means, as you can see, we've done one earlier. We've applied, let's say our paste is in the bucket, and we've applied it on the wall. So everything again is at height, and then we have our paper, and that means we can actually then have our paper fixed to the wall. And then after that, the next process, as you're well aware of, is you have different tools. You have the cutter for lining, for cutting with the knife. That will go up here. And then you have the little sponge for just attaching the paper to it. So again, that's just a brief one on the wallpapering, as we're just really evolving the wallpapering experience, and we're trying to now, this system is just a prototype. We're trying to maybe take in small changes, but I think going forward, it's very important. I think going forward, it's going to be very important, just the marketing, Boxing, that we probably bring out, the telescopic paint bucket, and then we bring out a telescopic paste bucket / decorator's bucket. So I suppose we're early days with the kind of marketing material, images, demonstrations. So we're working towards that in the next couple of months for the wallpapering. And I suppose where we're at the moment is the red system, which you have in the US. So I suppose to sum it up, that's my introduction, and I suppose a bit of demonstrations on the model.